Hey everyone, what is up? This is Rish again from Republic of Sellers, and today we are going to be discussing product packaging. Alright folks, so I hope you have been following me on my dailyRish series where I am actually sharing every step that I'm doing and taking towards building my next brand and building the base of that next brand outside of Amazon. Alright, so this is one of those videos in that series. If you have not subscribed to the channel or checked that series out, you must check it out. Alright, and if you have seen the previous video, I'm basically in the process of designing my packaging for one of my products, and it's kind of finalized now. The packaging is finalized, the inserts are still being designed. So I just decided to make this video about product packaging, because that is a very critical aspect of this entire process. Because if you do not have the right information on your packaging, if you do not have the right marks on your packaging, if you do not have your packaging as expected by customs or Amazon or XYZ parties, you can really go south with all of your other steps and process and efforts. Okay, so let's dive in and look at the important aspects of packaging. By the way guys, what do you think about this setup? This is a very makeshift setup. As you can see, it is the dumbest setup in my opinion. It is not smart, but I'm doing this because I do not want to spend a lot of time in editing these videos or even sending my videos to my editor, because then I'm not able to produce a lot of videos quickly. So I'm basically making this video out of my workspace. As you can see, the background, it's kind of neat, and this is my laptop, that's me behind the camera, and I'm just using a small tripod along with my phone. So yeah, that's how I keep these videos coming daily, and I hope you're enjoying my daily updates. Alright, so the most important factor to have in your packaging is certifications. Alright, okay, you cannot screw this up, but along with the fact that you should put certification symbols on your packaging, you also need to have those certifications at your disposal, because what can happen is that your product might get inspected by customs, even if it's going through air or ocean. It's a random check that happens sometimes. So your product might get inspected by customs, and if it does get inspected by customs, and if you have these XYZ symbols on your packaging, you need to provide those documents to customs. Okay, you cannot just have a symbol on your packaging which is kind of like a compliance symbol. For example, this FCC logo is basically for products which are having electronic components. This the CE symbol is usually for the European market, and this is again something related to the electrical standards components of that sort, and the ASTM symbol is actually for child safety and children safety products. Okay, so you need to have these documents, and the way you get these documents is by asking your manufacturer to kind of issue it to you on their behalf. Okay, that is one way. The second way to get these certifications is by applying for these testing processes and certification methods through third-party certification companies, which are kind of like global companies who do it. For example, there is one company called Bureau Veritas. You can just Google them, and they are actually into testing and product certification. So you can kind of hire such a third-party agency and get these certifications done. Apart from certifications, you also need to kind of ensure that you have the warning symbols, if applicable, on your product in place. So for example, one of my products had this warning symbol, which was small parts not for children under 3 years of age. So this is extremely critical. Without that symbol, you cannot clear customs. Okay, if you don't have that symbol, and if you are being inspected by customs, you will be fucked up if you don't have that symbol. Okay, you need to have that symbol if you have a product which is for children over a certain years of age, so that you tell the customer and the buyer or the consumer that, hey, this is not applicable for this product is not a good fit for children under this age or under that age category, whatever. So by no means I'm telling you that this video that I'm creating is a complete end-to-end guide about what you need to do with your product packaging and what you need to add to your product packaging. All I'm doing right now is enlightening you and letting you know that these are the touch points that you need to think about, so that you can go ahead and deep dive and research this along with your manufacturer, along with your freight forwarder, along with your partner, whoever it is. I'm just helping you kind of get the information so that you do not miss these steps, because that is the most important step in itself, right? Another important factor that you need to have in your product packaging is country of origin. Okay, this is absolutely important. You your products will get stuck definitely if they don't have it on them and if they are being imported. So for example, if you're manufacturing in China and then selling in the US, you need to have country of origin. But if you're manufacturing in the US and selling in the US, you may be exempted from this, but I'm not sure. But yes, that is kind of like the reason behind this. Then there's this is a very peculiar thing, I would say. This is something that I learned from my freight forwarder, and she had kind of asked me to get this put up on my packaging because when I had my first ocean shipment. So when we have ocean shipments, there are a different set of rules and checkpoints that the freight forwarding companies follow, because ocean shipments go through a different kind of checking process and the air shipments go through a different kind of checking process. Okay, mostly ocean shipments go through a rigorous checking process sometimes, and that is why you need to have a label on your packaging, okay, on your product unit. Okay, I'm not talking about the carton, I'm talking about the product unit, which states the name of the factory. It can be the name of the factory, or it can be name of the shell company within the country of origin. Okay, so for example, if you look at products which are manufactured by Xiaomi or Mi or Vivo, so these Chinese companies who manufacture their products with third-party factories in China, and they don't have their own factory, what they do is they basically set up a shell company so that they don't reveal their own factory. Okay, so you can do that if you are a big brand, but in the beginning I think you'll have to put the name of the factory, because I told my freight forwarder and I asked them, can I put my company address which is based in Singapore? She said no, you cannot do that because that is not in the origin country. So you have to have the factory name or name of the trading company or the shell company that you're using to represent your production. Then along with that, you need to have model number of the product. It can be anything, you can set it yourself, but you need to keep a track of it along with the batch number. And then you need to have a contact email or phone number. Okay, now this can be your brand email or factory email, it's all good. Yes, again, you need to have the contents and the weight. Now this is not a requirement, but this is something that I put on my products so that the customer is enlightened, the customer is aware what is inside the box before he opens the box. Okay, that is the idea here, and what is the weight and the metrics, because that might also be required while shipping. So like for example, if I have the main product unit in my unit carton, the box, and then if I have 4 different accessories, I'm going to list all of those accessories and the main unit and then write the quantity against it. Like for example, if I have 2 batteries inside it, 2 AA batteries, so I'll write AA battery and the quantity would be 2, like that. I hope you understand what I mean. Beyond that, you need to have that total weight and the net weight. Net weight is basically the weight of the product, and total weight is the weight of the entire box, including the accessories, the packaging itself, the product, whatever it is inside the box. Then of course you need to have a barcode on your product unit, right? Now there are 2 types of barcodes in this universe, because some of you might be only selling on Amazon and some of you might be selling outside of Amazon. So UPC barcode is something that you need to get for your product. Okay, you can get that UPC barcode from GS1. If you want more insights about how do you get UPC barcodes from GS1 or verify UPC barcodes from GS1, which don't cost you a lot, you need to join my group, Republic of Sellers, right here. So join the group and you can always reach out to me and kind of understand how do I procure these barcodes at a very cheap price. And apart from that, there's a different kind of barcode which you would get if you list your product as a FBA product on Amazon. So you would get a FNSKU barcode, and this is something that you need to put on your product. Okay, now if you are going to send in inventory to Amazon and sell through Amazon's FBA system, then you need to hide your UPC barcode and only show the FNSKU barcode. Okay, remember that, because otherwise Amazon would get confused and they would not be able to figure out what barcode to scan. So if you're going to sell only through Amazon and if you're going to send in inventory to Amazon, you need to hide this code. But if you're going to sell in, let's say, through retail stores or through online or wherever else, then you don't need to think about or worry about the FNSKU code. You can only add the UPC barcode on your product and you'll be good. Now you need to have this affiliated with your product, whether you put it on the box or not, that's another story. This is like a global identifier for your product. So if you decide to sell something online or elsewhere, you have to get a UPC barcode for that product so that the world knows that this code is affiliated with your product. Okay, that is the science behind it. And lastly, you can and you should, in my opinion, have your website, your social handles on your product packaging, because that kind of also gives the customer a sense of trust and a sense of a trust in a way that they can always reach out to you through social media, because everybody assumes that psychologically that if a brand has a social media presence, they will respond quickly. That is why you need to have that, and of course a website, so that you know, if they want, and if they really love your brand and product and your service and the way you have delivered it to them, they would want to check out more products under your brand directly and see if you kind of, you know, have better pricing on your website compared to Amazon. So yeah, and these are very much compliant to Amazon's terms of service. I've sold more than 12,000 units of my product, and all of them had these details, so I'm not really making this up. I'm talking from experience. And that is it for this video. I will see you in the 13th video. Subscribe to the channel, keep crushing it, share this content. I hope you're loving it, and I will see you later. Exit Amazon.